your flesh and blood.
Welcome to Tell Me Your Story, new paradigms for a new world where we're giving you choices and knowledge of those choices to help make your dreams come true. We are here 9 times a week, Sundays at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m., Monday mornings at 1 a.m., Wednesdays at 9 a.m., and Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 a.m., streaming live at all those times at richarddugan.com. We are on SoundCloud, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Spotify, Stitcher, Player FM, as well as YouTube, where you can watch these conversations. I hope that you will take time to subscribe and click notifications so that when a new conversation is posted, you'll be notified and you'll be able to tune in, listen in, and learn, and be entertained and inspired. A reminder that Choices, which is my book, 5 Steps for Life, it's available on Amazon.com in paperback, hardcover, and Kindle with Audible, soon to be released. We also ask that if you can support the work that we are doing financially, we do have a PayPal account. It is there for your security as well as ours. And when they ask for an email address to whom you're sending, please go to richard@richarddugan.com. That's the email address. If you go to richarddugan.com, there is also a link directly to PayPal so that you can send us whatever support you can. And we thank you to those who have helped and to those who will help. We also ask that you take time during this decade of perfect vision, the 2020s, to go within to that quiet, peaceful, calm, still place and listen to that still, small voice. And with that, we now take you to our very special interview and guest here on Tell Me Your Story. And welcome to Tell Me Your Story, New Paradigms for a New World. I'm Reverend Dr. D. Richard Dugan, and we have a returning guest to our program, Soma ARah. And she is all the way from one of my wife's and my favorite places, Ireland. Welcome back. I think this is like your, 7th or 8th time on the program. Very excited to have you, I'm going to say, as a regular, because of the information that I personally believe, and let me put it that way, folks, believe, I don't know, the information that you provide, quite honestly, is, whether it be accurate or not, it's sort of reassuring. It's comforting in that respect. When I go to, for example, intuitives, psychics, mediums, whatever, and I start asking a bunch of questions, it's not because they have the answers and I don't. It's because I would just like to have a little confirmation from the outside, so to speak. So thank you for being with us to share what you have to share. And I think a little bit later on, we are going to talk with Ashtar. Excellent.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Richard. I'm delighted to be here. Thank you so much for giving me the space. And I love connecting with you and being a guest on your podcast and show. And every time that we do this, I'm always excited and looking forward to it. And they seem to come in every time they come in with you. They seem to come in stronger and stronger and stronger. And it's like a dance of building a relationship and energy, which, the way we build relationships on Earth is kind of more of the same with them and also with spirit and our loved ones, even because our loved ones, when they pass away, they go into a different energy. So they become more of who they were on Earth or could have been, because they step into a higher dimensional frequency, so they become more of themselves and more enlightened. But every time I'm here, I feel them coming in and building a relationship between the three of us. And I'd even want to include your wife in that as well. I feel the energy around her quite a lot.
It's interesting what someone said to us some years ago, and I've really held on to this phrase, this term that they used. They were picking up on, of course, her energy, my energy, our energy, and they would say, "Oh, you do realize that you are a power couple." I'm curious, are there people who you come across, couples in particular, and maybe collect groups, communities, that have begun to harness, if you will, or maybe the word harness isn't quite right. Get into the flow of that energy, that power that is transforming not only their lives individually and maybe as a group or community collectively, but is also that ripple effect of the drop in a still pond, and it's just going out everywhere, and there are more and more people, and they are actually part of the silent majority as opposed to the screaming, yelling, loud, obnoxious, disgusting minority, because I do believe that that's usually the way it works. The ones that scream the loudest in that regard, especially with all of the what we'll term negative energy, are actually, they are in the minority, but because they're so loud, a lot of people think, oh my God, they're everywhere.
Yes, and I think what you're saying, what you're referring to, is really important. Ashtar and the Pleiadians have said to me over the last few years that there will be more power couples together, working together spiritually, and more couples finding each other who resonate on a higher frequency with each other to do good work. And that's very much part of ascension. And also there will be new children being born who are of a higher frequency. So I think both those themes, or energy coming together, energy being born, whether it's with couples or young babies being born, is to do with ascension and a higher frequency. So a lot of us, I know I have I know I'm my partner Dennis, who is always there by my side when he can be for the Cosmic Starseed Academy. I know that I would class us also as a power couple, and I feel that I've seen there's a lot more couples coming together now where it's a reunion of souls that we've known before. I've definitely known Dennis before, and I think there's a lot more of that in our field of work as well, within the spiritual work or the good work that we're doing. And it's very tied into ascension, where the energies are evolving. We as a human species are evolving, and that is part of it. The power couples, the spiritual power couples that work together.
But I'm thinking that when we say power couples and the word power shows up, there will be those who will misinterpret that and say, "Oh my God, you guys, what are you guys going to do with that power? I mean, don't do this or that or the other thing, blah 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 blah." And it's actually surrendering to that power. It's like I use the analogy of laying back on your back, floating on the river, and allowing that current, that power, that energy to carry you. And then you do those things that you are inspired, led by your intuition and so forth to do. I mean, I look back on this past 12 months, 13, 14 months, and what my wife and I have been through to move to where we're living now. And I'm thinking, okay, there was a period of time there where we really were stressing because of the urgency, and they wanted us out and this and that and the other, and all of the timing and what have you. But when you look at it, you step back as the observer, it's like, wow, how the heck did that is? And I even use the word miraculous to describe what happened. I mean, because a year ago, when we take a look at, let's just say, our real estate market just here in California, and the cost of housing here in California, let alone across the country, you'd think, no, that is not a smart thing to do. You do not want to buy a house. And yet we did. And here we are, and we're doing well. And so I'm wondering if that's what the power is all about. It's allowing yourself to be carried and, so to speak, used by that power to make life not only incredible for yourself, but for the people around you.
the flow of God, the flow of energy, the flow of inspiration, intuition, and trust that we are being carried, being held in an invisible force of God, and that we are aspects of God, whether it's male or female or both, and trusting in the divine spark, trusting in ourselves, and letting go of those old energies, letting go of the old, of everything. You know, there's a big shift in energy at the moment where we're really stepping into our own energies and moving away from the cities and buying up houses and land and where we can, and building something new.
Yeah. And not being afraid. I mean, that seems to be the biggest block to that power is fear, is it not?
Yes, that's huge, because from a very young age, you know, our even our parents unconsciously, unwillingly, unknowingly put fear into us of, you know, just simple things like cars and crossing the road, or strangers. You know, there's a fear, especially with children these days, of strangers and what they might do. And then we enter the school. The majority of people do enter the school system, and then there's a lot of fear within that that is taught. And so we're, from a young age, we're taught to fear even God. You know, we're taught to fear God within the Christian or Catholic Church. The wrath of God and hell and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So fear is a big issue, and we get caught up in programs and systems and rules and regulations, and, you know, a whole lot of fear that is really unnecessary, but keeps us very restricted in a very kind of limited box, an energetic box of fear. You know, fear of spirit, fear of death, fear of lack of abundance, fear of poverty, fear of just so many things, all based around fear.
Now, I've heard it said that the word fear is not exactly the correct word when speaking in that context, specifically of the philosophies. That actually the word should have been interpreted respect. And I thought, okay, well, that certainly takes the onus a little bit off of, you know, the whole fear thing, fearing God, as opposed to respecting, shall we say, or even honoring the divine and so forth. Do you and have the Pleiadians who you connect with, and that's, by the way, one of the reasons why we have her on the program, folks. Do you have any kind of practices? Because I'm sure there's more than one, because, well, there are 8.5 billion people, and a lot of them, they experience fear in different ways and so forth. But do you have some suggestions for folks before we move on here to release that energy, to release the fear, and recognize that, quite honestly, and I can't remember, I'm going to have to look this up, who said this, whether it was Stephen Hawking or Carl Sagan or somebody else, who said that this is a friendly universe and that really there is nothing to fear. There is no big bad wolf.
Yes, I do. I have, it's a meditation technique that I use, or visualization, where would you like me to do it for your viewers?
Please, let's do that.
Okay, so I'll do it as myself as I'm talking through it. So if you visualize yourself in a bubble of white light, and you step into your heart. So if you close your eyes and breathe in, take a deep breath in through your nose, down to your belly, hold it, and then for as long as you possibly can, and then breathe out through your mouth, and do that 2 or 3 more times. So breathe in through your nose, down to your belly, and hold it for as long as possibly comfortable. And then out through your mouth. And once more. And then visualize a bubble of white light or color, beautiful, illuminescent, white, golden light, fully surrounding your aura, energy field around you, which we all have.
Mm-hmm.
And then visualize the shape of a heart over your heart chakra, or in your heart chakra, in your heart space. Visualize a heart there, a heart shape. And it can have a color if you choose, or if you see a color naturally, instinctively. And then you never want to make yourself smaller, but this heart space, this heart energy, this heart shape, you want to grow that and expand that and step into that, so that that energy becomes bigger than you are physically. So it completely surrounds you, and it comes from the top of your crown chakra, or the top of your head in the center, and it comes out and over you, and it covers you in all directions. So it covers you front, back, left and right. And it meets beneath your feet in the earth. And then expand that energy. That is a simple visualization of the love, of the frequency of love. And the frequency of love is measurable. Therefore, anything that can be measured can be created. So the frequency, the energy of love can be created within you, which is the opposite of the energy of fear. So that is a simple technique to achieve, to come away from fear and step into the energy of love.
We're going to talk more about an academy that you have. It's called the Cosmic Starseed Academy. We're talking with Soma ARah, and you are listening to Tell Me Your Story. I am Reverend Dr. D. Richard Dugan. Soma ARah has joined us here on the program for, I think, the 7th or 8th time. I've lost count, and that's okay. And we're going to have you back again many times over the coming weeks, months, and years. But I want to ask you about the Cosmic Starseed Academy, and how, first of all, what is it, and when was it founded? When was it started?
Well, I started it a few years ago. I actually have forgotten the exact date. I need to look that up. But I started it predominantly mainly for starseeds, because I resonate so well with starseeds, because I am a starseed and I know the journey of a starseed. Many people still don't fully understand what it means to be a starseed. And some people sometimes are a little bit misdirected with what it means to be a starseed. And it does have, it has pros and cons like anything. So there are negative sides to it as well. A sense of not fitting in, not belonging, you know, as often a characteristic of being a black sheep within your family. A sense of being an outsider, especially within the school system. But a starseed predominantly is mainly someone who is aware that they are different, that they are sometimes aware that they are a starseed. It's someone whose DNA is different, someone whose energy is different, someone whose awareness is different. It's really someone who answered the call that was sent out into the universe, who is on Earth, who came to Earth to help assist humanity. But their energy is different. So they would be very gifted often in psychic abilities or intuitiveness or awareness or remote viewing or some type of gifted gifts of psychic or mediumship ability, which often they progress into perhaps channeling or light language. But their DNA is different. They're often the Pleiadian bloodline would be a lot of rhesus negative blood type. So a starseed is someone who answered the call that was put out into the universe to be here now on this time of Earth. And they started to come in, I believe, I would say the 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s and 70s. So there's kind of a progressive lineage of them. And Dolores Cannon does talk about them a lot. Perhaps she uses different words or terms to describe them. Mm-hmm. But they come to a point where they are aware that they are starseeds with a mission on Earth to help awaken humanity. And so that there's a lot of pros and cons with that. You know, it's not all nice stuff. They often have experiences of being targeted, often experiences of dark energy, in order for them to clear that. So I created the Cosmic Starseed Academy because I wanted to help assist starseeds, because I've had a very unusual life going right back to my childhood, where the Pleiadians kept me out of the school system in order for me to, quote, we kept you out of the school system because otherwise you would have been lost to us. And I didn't know who they were at the time. I had no idea, not until 2009, 10, 11, 12. Around those years, I began to do shamanic training. And I began to have experiences of having connected to them as a child, but I'd already started to channel at that point. So my story is very back to front. And even to this day, I still have a lot of blocked memories, but so that's why I wanted to create the Cosmic Starseed Academy to help assist other starseeds, because my journey has been very much I've had my whole childhood was very unusual, in the extreme, and so I was taught from a very young age by Spirit and the Pleiadians, especially Ashtar and Yeshua or Jesus, and I had some extreme experiences with those beings. So my whole childhood now, when I look back, although it was very traumatic, in the extreme, it was also very cathartic, and I learned so much, Richard. So much of the esoteric knowledge, and not just by reading books from a very young age, but also by my experiences with them. So I was really being trained in order to do what I'm doing now, which is to help, part of my mission is to create the Cosmic Starseed Academy to help other starseeds. And sometimes people don't know that they are a starseed. Sometimes they would just say that they have UFO experiences, or they would have experiences on the astral plane or psychic experiences or mediumship. But when you put all their experiences together, a lot of those categories and experiences come under the main term of Starseed. So that's why I created it. And we really are a team within the Cosmic Starseed Academy. It's been going, I would say, 3 or 4 years now. I think I was in Ireland about a year before I created it. So that would have been 2021, 22, 23. So it's 2 or 3 years old. I really must look up the year that I established it, but it's for starseeds. But it's not just for starseeds, because often people, they don't label themselves a starseed. So it's for people that are having UFO experiences, UFO abductees, contactees experiences. There's a whole field there. Psychic experiences, awareness dreams, messages, channeling, light language. Yeah. So that's kind of it in a very nutshell.
Well, I'll tell you what, I would love to have a little bit of a conversation, if I can, with Ashtar. I would actually love, I've got one basic question, if it is possible for you to, or if he is willing to come through, and that being Yeshua. I have one main question that I've been kind of thinking about for a little while. So if that's something that we can set up here in the next few moments, I would love that as I share with our viewers and listeners some information. And if you would like to go ahead and begin the process of allowing them to come through you. One quick question for you, though, is, are you a conscious or, if the correct term is, or unconscious channel?
That is a very good question. Over the years, they have worked with me in very different ways. And that feels like they're giving me the opportunity and experience to learn all the pieces of the cake in different ways. So sometimes I will channel in different ways. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I go very deep. Sometimes it's very light and I'm more conscious. But sometimes I have no idea what I've said at all. Sometimes I will remember little bits of it. But I'm always in some kind of trance state. Sometimes it's very deep. Sometimes it's just very gentle. But sometimes they will actually step into my body, which is trance mediumship, or trance channeling. But and when it's mediumship, it's called trance mediumship when it's spirit, but of a loved one or a similar energy. But when it's the Pleiadians or a similar energy to them, that is called trance channeling. And there's again different levels of that. So sometimes you will see the energy is on my face changes. Mm-hmm. I do tend to, and the deeper I go within the trance state of channeling, the more my lips on my left side will kind of go into, will be pulled to one side, which is not something that I normally do in the day-to-day in myself, Mm-hmm. And also my voice sometimes changes, either a little bit or extremely, where other people can hear it. I sometimes am aware that my voice has changed myself. So it also depends on my energy, if I'm very tired or if I'm going through stuff in my own life. It just really depends a lot on my energy as well. I have to make sure that my energy is I have to take care of my energy in order to channel. So I do work in different ways. I don't know if all channelers go through that or if they just stay working in one particular kind of piece of cake or one particular way. But they have, because I've been working with them so long, I've been very blessed, and I'm not blessed in all areas of life, but within channeling them, I'm very blessed, and I'm very grateful, very grateful that I'm able to channel them, and also Yeshua. So, and I love doing it so much. So that's some of the ways I work. Sometimes you will see energies. I know I was at the UFO conference last year in July in Florida with the Full Disclosure Now conference with Brian Seng and his crew, his team. And I was channeling on the stage, and afterwards I knew I knew they were behind me. I knew Ashtar was behind me because I could feel them and I could see them in my mind's eye. But I was talking to one of the ladies, a young girl, afterwards, and she had a stand there. I think she was there with her mum. She was quite young and she was definitely a starseed. And we got talking, and she said to me that behind me, she could see them. And I was very impressed with that, because with her ability to see them, which is fantastic.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to allow you to prepare, and I'm going to talk with our viewers and listeners as you do that. And as you do that, I want to remind you folks that we're talking with Soma ARah, and she is a trance channeler, and we're going to find out more about the work that she does. She also has a book that we can talk about as well, and we will do that as we continue talking with her. And we're also going to talk with Ashtar, and we're also going to talk, I'm looking forward to this because I do have one main question for Yeshua, the entity that she will be bringing through. As a matter of fact, what I'm going to share with you right now, as it is materializing on my screen, the work that she has. I mean, she has all kinds of different readings, whether it be Akashic records and readings and so forth, but she has a book entitled The Pleiadian Children, and that is a book that's available through her website, which is somaarah.love. That's SOMAARAH.LOVE, and we hope that you will avail yourselves to find out more about that, and also get a copy of her book. And the Pleiadian Children is, and that's fascinating. I see here on the website some different things, so we'll look forward to talking with her more about those kinds of things. And so, just a reminder that you are listening to Tell Me Your Story. We're going to be talking here in just a moment with Ashtar and also Yeshua. And I have one simple question for Yeshua, but let's see who has entered. And if you would please sign in, please, as it were.
We are ready to begin. We are delighted to be here. Not only are we here with this one, but we are also with you as we are speaking. We are able to be in more than one place at a time. There are some symbols we would like to share with you that we are now showing. This one, Soma ARah, which is the image of a lion, which is very significant in your Earth's history. Also, the image of a sword, an etheric sword, which is also very important within your Earth's history. Both of these as symbols are relevant not just to you, Richard, not just to Soma, but to your wife and so many. We use the word human beings lightly.
Because we're not, I mean, we may inhabit a human, as we define it, a human body, but that isn't really who we are, is it?
No, you are spirits.
Mm-hmm.
You are a soul, an essence, an aspect of God, born into a physical body, but you are a space traveler. You are a soul having many different lifetimes within your universe, whether that is on your planet Earth or with us or within different planets and star systems within the universe, within the universes. Your universe, your space up there is teeming with life. It is a false belief on your planet that you are isolated as humanity and alone as humanity within the universe. And the very opposite is true. And the one that you call Yeshua is with us and is one of us.
I have a question for Yeshua. The question has to do with the name. And I was watching, I've heard that when people speak of the person of Jesus, Jusus, in English, that is not the person who lived roughly 2,000 years ago, who brought the messages and so forth. That is referring to someone else, something else, some other energy other than the divine, and that the true name that we should be speaking should be Yeshua, and that we are not to follow Yeshua, like, for example, follow behind Yeshua, as if we were in a line or something. We should be following the message, because what we've been given in the ancient wisdom teachings was either intentionally or otherwise mistranslated so as to set up this personage that is referred to in the text as Jesus. We're supposed to follow that person, that person and personality is the way, the truth, and the life. But it is not that. It is the message that was brought that is the way, the truth, and the life. Can you elaborate on, and I know I've put a lot out there, but can you shed some light on that? Am I on track or am I off base?
You are on track. And there is much more. Thank you. There is much more that we could add to that. There is a whole history that has been kept from you. And when we say you, we are referring to humanity, the collective of humanity. There is much history of me. When I say me, I mean Yeshua, or the one you know as Jesus.
The carpenter. It has been said that, and there have been many iterations, if you will, fictional iterations, and maybe the not so fictional. One in particular, back in the 1980s, as our calendar functions, where this one gentleman whose last name is Kazantzakis wrote a book called The Last Temptation of Christ, and it was made into a movie. But those of the faith at that time, or allegedly of the faith, were very upset because they believed that it was blasphemous, that it was wrong, that Jesus did not live a life and get married and have children, that he died on the cross and so forth. And yet they missed the whole point of the book. If they had read the preface, it says that these were just the musings. He even states that this is fiction. I'm just asking the questions, as it were. That's all he was doing. And it wasn't the greatest of movies, but I read the book and it was fascinating. But there are many people who, maybe through channeling.
Let us address that.
Please, go ahead.
There are many writings within your planet that are written as fiction, that are in fact fact. I have told Soma before that I did not die on the cross, that I was married, that I had children. Many of your viewers will perhaps find the following information funny or mock. But I have shown Soma before that dragons were very real on your planet, and that I had one, not at least one, not that I owned it, but rather it was part of my family. I had a father that was born of Pleiadian DNA blood. And it is not strictly true that my mother was a virgin, but rather that there was a extraterrestrial father.
There has been some, matter of fact, there has been some new research on what is referred to as the Shroud of Turin, allegedly the burial cloth that was wrapped around the person who, again, according to the stories, was crucified and was put in the tomb. And they have actually been able to test the material, specifically the DNA, and that is also the same conclusion from a scientific standpoint that they came to. But my question is, if Yeshua did not die on the cross, it was not buried and wrapped in this cloth, then where did this cloth come from, and how did they get this DNA?
Okay. There is more than one cloth. There is a genuine cloth that was deliberately created in order to establish some of my historical features, some of my historical DNA. The name Yeshua is interesting, and this is new information to Soma, but the name Yeshua, yes, Yeshua. So your language has deliberately been changed and manipulated in the same way as the Bible has. There was once a time in your history where the Bible contained sections regarding reincarnations that were deliberately taken out because the religions, those within the religious, let us call them corporations, did not want the general public to be aware of. And one of those subjects was reincarnation. But let us go back to language, which has deliberately been changed and manipulated. Let us first go to the word hue, or H-U, or H-U-E. Hue is not so well known as meaning, it is a word that means human, but it is a human that did not come from your planet. It is what a human that Soma refers to when she speaks of starseeds, or where we speak through her of starseeds. Because even when we are not channeling like this, we are always filtering through to her information.
Always connected.
Yes, so let us explain about this language. And the word hue means, originally means the word human, but it is the word human does not, it is referring to humans that are not born from your planet. So they are extraterrestrial within their DNA, referring to what Soma would call starseeds. And then let us look at the word yes. So if you put those two together, you get Yeshua. The original language was born from sounds which contained tones such as hue. Or
Well, thank you.
So, but let us continue just for a few moments.
Please, go
This
ahead.
is important. So, thank you. So the sounds, the language was born from sound. The sound was even born from symbols around about the same time and contained and can still contain frequency, sound, symbols, energy, and a frequency all unto themselves, such as A, E, I, O, U, which was not the original or has been manipulated. So one of the original sounds that was born from one of the original words, actually, thank you, was hue, that was born from sound, but this contains within it an energy, a frequency, a sound, a color. This was part of my name, but it is a frequency that I embodied on your planet of Christ consciousness that is connected to starseeds and human beings. When you say this, and some people know this, so it is within some of the esoteric teachings that even I taught and the Essenes taught. When you say the word hue, you are connecting to that frequency, that Christ consciousness that does not originate from your planet. I originated from elsewhere within your universe, partly because my father was an extraterrestrial. Let us
go ahead.
Pause there, because that is a lot of information. And it may sound funny to some people.
Yeah.
It will thank you. It will most definitely sound funny to some of your listeners.
Yeah.
But it contains, through frequency and energy and symbols and sound, it contains information.
And I guess the one thing that I would add would be that everything that is right now, everything that has been down through the history of humanity is in, as the phrase we like to use here, it is in divine right order. There is nothing out of order. There is no chaos in the divine. It's only in our minds as human beings, our intellect, our personality, our ego, that perceives it as chaos. And the reality is that whatever our perceptions are of what's happening right now, it's right where it's supposed to be, and we are moving forward on a path that is it's one of those things where you have, as in the Hindu writings, you have destruction, and then you have construction, you have death, and you have birth. It's cyclical. So some might say that right now here on the planet, we're going through, the death knells, as it were. Hey, enjoy the ride. All right. Stay focused, and we'll be on the other side of what you perceive as the death knell soon enough, and we will have a rebirth, and it will be a glorious and wonderful experience. We're talking we've been talking with Yeshua through Soma ARah, and here on Tell Me Your Story. I would like to address my next series of questions to Ashtar, if I may. And Soma and I spoke of this, so you may already be aware of where I'm wanting to go with this. We are currently experiencing some what would be considered very unusual weather patterns on the planet overall. And there has been this comment made by a good friend of mine many, many years ago, when there was also similar kinds of, but not quite as severe turmoil on the planet of a natural aspect, like tornadoes and hurricanes, and you could throw in wildfires and so forth. And the comment was made by her that we need to take a look at what hurricanes and tornadoes and high winds and all of these heavy rains and snows and so forth are, what's going on the inside of us. So can you share with us, as we are experiencing, as you and I are speaking today, we are experiencing, especially here in the United States specifically, excessive heat. I mean, it's very warm for a lot of people. And what that represents for us collectively as a community, as a country and a community, and where is it that we are creating this? And in spite of what I said earlier about how everything is in divine right order, so is this heat. But at the same time, when we are in the power, if we're power couples, for example, and we're flowing in that power, is there a way for us to, it's been referred to as a heat dome, a high pressure dome. Is there a way for us to break it, to release it, to transmute it, transform it into, shall we say, I'll put it in our human form, cooler energy?
This is a very important, interesting, and very current topic. So recently we have channeled through Soma that this heat wave that is being experienced around your planet, in Ireland, in the UK, in Europe, in America, and in other places, this heat is not a natural thing. And although there's two timelines or energies that are, because you are creators and you are creating this, but there is also the aspect or situation rather where the negative elites or powers that be are geoengineering this heat wave in order to cause destruction. And there is more information that will be released about this, not just through us and Soma in the future, but also by others. Thank you. So this heat wave is being caused deliberately to cause destruction, partially to put fear into people, but also to cause devastation, because there are also fires being born or created from this extreme heat wave. We've said before many times through Soma, and more importantly recently, there are water shortages to come, because it has not rained for some time, although that is starting to occur now in Ireland where she is. But there will be water shortages. The other day we did a channeling within the Cosmic Starseed Academy, and we explained to her, we shared with her and with the people within that group and those listening in the future now, that all the elements are being targeted: the air, the water, the earth, the soil, even going into the food. And we're kind of classing food within those elements, which is not something we would normally do, but those elements will affect the production of food, as will water, because when you have a lack of water and you are in a heat wave, everything will perish and in the ground. It is not sustainable to life to be within those conditions, whether it be plant, animal, or human. So the heat wave that is around the planet at the moment is not a natural thing. It is being created in order to create water shortages. And the other day, Soma found it very interesting that we were linking what you call the AI data centers and the huge consumption of water that they require. It is interesting that we are linking the water shortage and the heat wave with the AI data centers. There will be water shortages on your planet. There will be food shortages on your planet. There will be fuel shortages on your planet. And none of this that we speak of is to create fear. We simply share it with you as much as we can because we want you to prepare to have an excess or a supply of water, a supply of food. A supply of essential items such as batteries and candles and tins of food.
So we just need, just like in any other situation, we need to be prepared for these different eventualities. Just as we here in California, for example, we prepare and are ready, hoping we don't have to, but being prepared just in case, and it does happen, if there's a wildfire in our neighborhood, in wherever it is that we are living. So I certainly do understand that. It's again not being disseminated. This information is there to inform, not to generate fear.
Absolutely.
One final question. Go ahead. Go ahead.
We would like to add, please. Thank you. There are other times in your history where your weather or situations have been created in order to affect humanity in a negative way, such as resets in the past that some of you, many of you, are becoming more and more aware of, such as mud floods or what Soma would call Tartaria, resets, repositioning of land where the land has shifted and moved around the earth. For example, Florida and Ireland was once connected and known, what Soma calls Atlantis, was connected between Florida and Ireland, and there are physical remnants of that more on the side of Florida, but also on the side of the west coast of Ireland. There are remnants of that as well, of the land that you once called Atlantis that was very physical. So there have been resets on your planet where there have been huge mudslides, but also fire and brimstone, fire and hail, darkness around your planet where the sun was blocked out in your collective history, where people were turned to stone, where people were fossilized. There are places on your planet that there are remnants of people that have been turned to stone due to high heat, which were not caused by volcanoes. There is technology that we've shown Soma many times that looks like a large baton or sword. It is that type of shape. And it is a technology that has a very high heat coming from it, emanating from it, that can be very destructive. And this has been used in the past on your planet. It is a high, it creates fire. It is a high heat, extreme high heat.
Mm-hmm. One of our guests some years ago described a situation in the area around what is called India or Pakistan. There was a desert surface that was like a sheet of glass. And of course, that surface originally was sand. And that you start asking the questions, okay, well, what would have caused this sand to melt
Good
down
example.
to a sheet of glass? And of course, then you start speculating, okay, well, what temperature do we need? Or what would generate that temperature? And the comment, the conclusion was, including checking on the radiation levels, that the only thing that we have in our modern technology is a nuclear bomb or something of that nature that would generate that kind of heat that would melt, which means that there have been humans or civilizations, and they say that though I know that you have shared with us that the Pleiadians are going to, I don't think the word intervene is correct, but they're not going to allow human beings to destroy themselves for a sixth time. But one of those first 5 destructions was probably due to what caused the sand to turn into a sheet of glass. Is that an accurate observation?
Absolutely, 100% accurate. There are places, Pompeii, for example, and there is also written in the Bible about turning people to stone, Sodom and Gomorrah, where there is technology in your history on planet Earth that has been hidden from you, that was used in ancient times, that you still do not, or the vast public, the masses still do not know about, still mock, laugh at. They believe that much of these stories, many in the Bible, are mythology, and they are not mythology. We began this conversation with you asking questions where you were asking about written books that actually contain, that are not science fiction, that are in fact fact.
Mm-hmm.
There was a book written by one of your famous spiritual people that wrote a fiction book that is actually based on fact. Soma is trying to remember the name.
Well, I could anyway. Go ahead and continue. I know you're trying to search for the title of the book.
Fingerprints of the Gods.
Fingerprints of the Gods. Okay.
Is not the book we are referring to, but the author wrote a book and published it as fiction.
Mm-hmm.
And it was about a woman, a girl, that was being born and reincarnated again and again and again, that was being followed from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime by a certain demon. But it, in fact, was not a demon, but rather a negative alien being, using technology to track and trace her from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime. And this is actually very common, not just by the negative alien species, but also by us and other positive alien species. We do track and trace you through a technology that exists in our dimension. It is an etheric. In your dimension, it is etheric, but in our dimension, it is physical. And these energy devices are placed within your etheric bodies, and we are able to locate them. So many years ago, we shared with Soma, we showed her a book that has all the names of the starseeds within this book. And again, it is a physical book in our dimension. And we were able to locate all these names and create this book because of this technology that is used to track and trace. The technology is neither good nor bad.
It's how it's used.
Exactly. And whose hands it is in.
Exactly. Well, I want to thank you for sharing with us here on the program again today. And we look forward to having all of you back to continue this conversation on many other areas. Folks, just again, if you stay focused, continue to listen to that still small voice within you to guide you. There is no fear needed. You do not need to fear what's happening or what is coming, because all of this, and I've shared this before, it's all temporary. It's all temporary. It does not last. And that as I've said before, it's like when I went in for my gallbladder surgery, one of the first things I thought of as I'm laying there before my surgery was, you're going to be on the other side of this before you know it. And I got to tell you, I was on the other side of it before I knew it. It was actually, not that I would go in for surgery just for the fun of it, but it wasn't that bad. I mean, it was just one of those things. So again, I thank you so much.
We thank you, we honor you, we love you so much. And we are speaking to you directly, and especially your wife as well. We want to add, we'd like to share that the word hue, when you tone it through your throat, hue, that is a way to connect with the Christ consciousness.
I have heard that. Yes, indeed. Well, once again,
with me, with Yeshua, with us.
Indeed. And blessings to you. And we look forward again to having you back again in the very near future. Soma, I want to thank you for allowing yourself to once again be used by them to share with us the information. And we look forward to having you back again here on the program, which is called Tell Me Your Story. Reverend Dr. D and Soma ARah. Soma, I cannot thank you enough. And I do want to, as I usually do, and I mean, you've been on so many times and I've asked these questions before, and I don't know that I'll continue, but I'm going to today. I'm going to ask you those 3 questions that I always ask all of my guests, regardless of how many times they are on the program. And the first of those is, and we'll go with this name here, and that is, who is Soma ARah?
Love.
What gets you up in the morning?
Oh, spirit, ignition, coffee.
Here. And what was your best day?
Connecting to Jesus at the age of 12 was one of my best days.
Wonderful. Well, again, thank you so much. And I thank you folks for listening to and watching Tell Me Your Story, New Paradigms for a New World. And until our next broadcast, podcast, videocast, love to love. Jeanette, I'm still listening. Dad, continue to be happy because I am. Smokey, I will see you on the other side. Mike, thanks for being in my life and letting me be in yours. Michael, my brother, welcome to fatherhood. And to my dear friend Zorro, aho, aho.